Yeah, absolutely. And we are live. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to
Hi,
Space
Internet.
Church. Welcome to Space Church. We are going to be having a very, very powerful sermon for y'all today.
I can
Later, we're
feel
going to
it
be breaking out our telescope.
in the big dirty church.
The big dirty
Truly,
space church.
in our big dirty space church.
And if we can get enough funds, we will finally open up the astrology store for Jared to work at. All we need is just a few more crystals and we can open up shop.
I really like that one where somebody's got all the crystals on their steering wheel of their car, and there's the text
my
at the
God.
bottom says like that's one way to make a claymore, you know. So,
Oh my gosh.
Nice crystals airbag cover.
yeah. When that shrapnel's flying at high speed, that will surely align my chakras finally.
It'll align something.
Well, in all serious, thank you everyone for being here with us. I'm seeing a lot of the familiar faces and names. Ika, welcome. We got Naruto Uzumaki in the house. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Folgers of dilithium.
We still got medieval writer here. That's awesome. Yeah, Jared's astrology shop. We sell moon rock and moon quartz.
You could do it. It'd be expensive, but you could do it. So I'm game. Let's make it happen.
Full disclosure, we are using lab-grown stuff, so it is what it is.
Lab-grown moon.
It's better than the real stuff, I promise you.
It's more ethical.
What was that? What was that line from Steve Martin's comedy routine? The double dodecaphonic moon rock needle.
I can't even. But yeah, something along those lines.
Swinging it back there a bit, Dada.
Well, I'm old. What do you want?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It's Steve Martin. It's funny. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know.
Well, welcome everyone. It has been a wild week in spaceflight once again. Every week it brings new challenges, new ideas, and new discoveries. And this week was drama-filled for sure. Sean Duffy, the acting administrator of NASA, did what I consider to be a triple fumble this week. Turns out that he has been doing just last week alone, I was praising him for at least appreciating the enthusiasm that he's shown. And it turns out that he does not want to give up the job because he has been enjoying all of the media coverage that he has been getting from this position and has aspirations of being the president of the United States someday. In the same week, he also made an announcement on TV that SpaceX is the one who is behind and is seeking to replace SpaceX as the provider of the moon lander for the Artemis 3 mission, with 30 months to go before they want to try to achieve that landing before the end of the current administration. And then, also on top of that, it was confirmed that Duffy is actively seeking to end NASA as we know it and fold it into a sub-agency within the Department of Transportation, the current position that Duffy holds. So no matter what happens, NASA would still report to him, even if NASA does get a new administrator and if Jared Isaacman is still potentially on the table to be that administrator. So I don't know about you guys and everyone watching, but yeah.
I've got two thoughts, and I'm not saying that I'm capable of fulfilling this role, but he's not.
I'd rather have you in this role at this point. Oh my goodness.
So I think we should make a TV show where all these people just get to play these high level parts and put cameras in their face all the time, and the consequences of their decisions are not felt by the whole of the world, because they're terrible at it. They don't have any earthly understanding of what it actually takes to do the thing and make these hard decisions. And they are hard decisions, and they are very, very consequential. Millions of billions of dollars uh, are transferred between companies and governments each year to be able to do these exploration missions. Hundreds of thousands of employees are affected by the wave of their finger or the very slip up of the tongue that they make. It's insane how monumental a shift can happen on somebody's the smallest of missteps, and they take all of this so lightly as if it doesn't even matter. And it would be better for everybody if they would just be televised as an optional thing to watch for comedy's sake and not have any influence over actually governing anything. NASA being part of the DOT is stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to entertain any good points that say otherwise, but NASA's edict from the beginning of their inception when they were NACA is to do the hard things that commercial industry cannot do. And DOT's edict is to keep potholes filled. And I don't see them doing that very well.
Nope.
So what?
Yeah.
And you think NASA's going to be magically because it folded into DOT, unless you like quintuple DOT's budget, like there's never going to be any funding to do anything. This is stupid. This is ridiculously stupid. It's short-sighted, and it misses all of the points.
Absolutely.
Random.
I see you squirming there over there. What? Let me hear your thoughts.
Oh boy, let me tell you, it's almost like if you put somebody who's from, reality TV in place, you end up getting reality TV. So, what's the phrase? Is it like vote in clowns, get a circus, or something like that? I think that's kind of how it goes.
Saying now.
Yeah, you want to talk about somebody who's come out swinging and it's just not doing a good job. It feels the World Series is happening right now, and it feels like Duffy is just this guy at the plate who's taking the bat and swinging at every ball that comes close to him, including the ones when the catcher's throwing it back to the pitcher. And then going, hey, how come nobody's playing it this way? Why am I the only one doing it this way?
Oh, wait, you know what would be cool, guys, is if we had cars in the street and we played this in the street. Let's do that for the World Series. No, that's not what that is, dude.
What? No, come on, man. Like, just there's there's something to be said about watching people who think they're super smart attempt to impress people and just absolutely mess up at every point possible while doing that. It's sad. I'm saying that with as straight a face as I can right now. It's sad. A lot of folks were hoping that he was going to be able to come in and actually do something. The problem is, I think he has looked in the mirror and basically said to himself in the mirror, "You're the smartest guy in there because you're in there, dude.
The head
so
of NASA.
Yeah, you're the head of NASA, man. So let's get out there and let's do some really cool stuff, okay?" And this is very much what happens when you have someone who has How much expertise does he have? Oh, none. No expertise in the field that he's trying to help out with. Which, by the way, this is not just like he doesn't understand how NASA works. I would go on to argue that he also doesn't understand how DOT works as well. So,
I mean,
not you can't propose rolling NASA into the Department of Transportation and I mean, that's basically a clue to me that indicates you neither know how NASA nor the Department of Transportation works, because neither of them are necessarily, like Dennis says, neither of them are necessarily aligned in the same goals, and for good reason, because
He hasn't been able to
need
solve the plane go down problem yet. How are we expecting him to make the rocket
no,
go up
and
problem go away?
as someone who flies a lot, I think about that every time I get on a plane. I go, you know what, this guy's not figured it out yet. So yeah, it's yeah, I just there's something to be said about there's two to me there's the two entities in space flight as well that you never bet against. One of them is JPL and the other is SpaceX, and it seems that it seems that he's very much interested in dismantling both of those. So we'll have to see what happens. He could dismantle JPL if he wanted to, because that's his prerogative. He could actually do that. But SpaceX, I don't see him being able to dismantle it because SpaceX is private. But also at the same time, he's definitely well on his path to making sure that China does beat the United States back to the moon, which honestly doesn't really seem like the timelines are going to work out in the United States' favor to begin with. And then also we're sort of, to me it's a weird argument too, with this idea of like, oh, we've got to get back there to beat China, but also like we did that 53 years ago. So
No, we didn't beat China. We beat Russia.
Well, yes,
we
but
beat
just
everyone.
saying, we beat everybody to the moon.
No. There was a specific
With people.
competition that we were having with a
Yes.
specific entity, and that is what everything that we were doing is targeted against. And now we don't have anybody that we're targeting against, so we have been aimless for decades.
Well, we do have somebody that we're targeting against now, and it's China, and it's
No. We're not playing that game, though. We're not actually engaged in playing that game.
I think
prove me wrong.
I think with the public side of things, with just how they're talking, yes, but does that mean that it actually is happening successfully at any level? Yeah, I don't.
We haven't entered into
so.
that game with the best and the brightest, the timeline, the finances. None of that has been shaped up in order to be able to actually engage with beating China to the moon. We're not playing that game. We're fiddling with our thumbs, trying to figure out maybe it would be kind of cool, but there is no momentum behind it. There is no engagement behind it for the general public. And frankly, we've got bigger problems to solve, and we did in the 60s as well. But the administration then made it a goal, made it a target, publicly announced, and put money where their mouth is, and backed everything with finances to make it happen.
Yeah.
Until all of that stuff lines up, we're not playing this game. We are not going to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
a lot of really good comments too from the chat room here, and I love some of the ideas that I've been seeing here. But I think first off, we all kind of agree with this sentiment here that Duffy went from being, oh, this guy's gonna suck, to, well, let's see, maybe, to, no, yeah, this guy sucks. And a great point brought up by Kenneth Neely is that, so the suits are ready, the Axiom suits are ready. Like, it's this, the SpaceX lander is not the only thing holding up Artemis 3, and I hate that they're even pretending otherwise. I do like this idea though from Aravel. I think that this would be hilarious. Kind of way back to the reality TV show point. We should just send Duffy and Isaacman to space camp, and whoever does better in the simulation scenarios becomes NASA administrator. I am all for that.
But so I'm going to make a point that is largely unseen. So you don't have to be an expert in the thing that you're managing to manage it well. You don't have to know everything about spaceflight or rockets or planes falling out of the sky in order to be able to manage the administration that handles that well. But you do have to have people in your stable that do that, and you have to manage them. You have to manage people, and he hasn't shown that he can manage people, and he hasn't shown that he has a technical understanding of what the people that he's managing need in order to be able to support them in their goal of managing the administration. He can be a public face, and that's great. He can make the overarching decisions of this is the thing that we should do, but like he does just like Elon managing SpaceX. He doesn't need to know every nut and bolt. He doesn't need to do all the mathematics and calculations. He doesn't need to do the stress analysis or the CAD design. He just needs to manage the people. He sucks at that. That's why they have Gwen. But Duffy doesn't need to know everything about everything in order to be able to make these intelligent decisions. He needs to manage the people that do that. But instead, they hire sycophants and yes men, and they don't get anything accomplished.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm a little even worried about Isaacman, that he is leaning into becoming a yes man just to be able to get the job. And I am undecided at this point whether that's a good thing or not, whether he's just doing it just so that he can get in there and then actually do some good work, or if he does get chosen, a sign of things to come. So I don't know. Ryan, you've been quiet about this. I'd like to get your thoughts on all of this. Do we have any solutions here? What are your thoughts on this?
There's a lot of thoughts. There's
Let the intrusive thoughts win.
Happened.
It's okay.
Yeah,
he like the Civil Aviation Authority is gathering their thoughts to make a final decision.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It looks like Sean Duffy woke up one morning and was like, you know what the UK did, and they folded their National Space Agency into a government department? That's a brilliant idea. We should do that too. The difference is the UK Space Agency does diddly squat compared to NASA, which is actually a proper space agency, not just a PR tool of the government, which is, let's be honest here, the UK Space Agency was a PR tool of the government to spread their science ambitions and whatnot. It's really obvious, all of this, like literally everything that Duffy has done this week. I mean, slagging off SpaceX, saying that NASA should be, or the reports that NASA should be folded into the DOT. This is all just Duffy trying to keep his hands on the job of being in charge of NASA because he's having fun being in charge of NASA, right? The reason he slagged off SpaceX on 2 national television channels wasn't because he wanted to have a beef with Elon. It was because he was proving a point to all of the other aerospace companies he'd been calling for the prior week, saying or asking for their support, that he was willing to stand up to SpaceX. That's the reason why he said those things about SpaceX. That's the reason why he never mentioned Axiom Space, who are also months, maybe years behind on spacesuit development for Artemis 3. And folding NASA into the DOT, I mean, that was pretty obvious. If you're already the Secretary of Transportation, if you bring NASA under the DOT, you're going to be in charge of NASA by a degree, right? Yeah. So all of these things that Duffy has been doing has been simply an effort to stay in command of NASA. And publicly, it's backfired because he has essentially made Elon Musk an enemy. And, you know, there's midterm elections coming up, and there's rumors going around that Elon Musk is going to be quite influential in those midterm elections for the Republicans. So they're going to want Elon on side. And if you have the Secretary of Transportation and also the acting administrator of NASA having a beef with at times the richest man in the world, it's not going to end well. So I am feeling that Duffy may have made a bit of a mistake for his own ambitions in that sense. I mean, if you look at it from the outside before going in, like, hey, we're going to stand up to SpaceX, I'm going to have every other aerospace company in the United States backing me up to be the leader of NASA. Great, that sounds like an awesome plan. The one thing you haven't considered is that Elon Musk is someone who doesn't hold back and is willing to go to places that few other people are willing to go. Right. And, you know, we've all seen the tweets at this point. So Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
talks out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah. It definitely seems very short-sighted and egotistical surrounding his own power and control, and yeah, it's it's certainly a difficult one and wrong timing to be doing this sort of thing. And even in his call for other companies to develop a lander as quickly as possible for Artemis 3, he mentioned Blue Origin specifically by name. And that's been an idea that's been floated around that maybe their Mark 1 could be upgraded to be a human lander. And what I'm more worried about is when he said, and other aerospace companies, that means Old Space, Boeing, Lockheed, Northrop Grumman, H3 Raytheon, and whatever else they have now pulled under that umbrella. That's what I'm worried about. And, here we are in a situation where we have invested more than $45 billion at this point, almost over 2 decades, and longer, that if you count the studies leading up to SLS and Orion, it's taken them 20 years, and we've only had one kind of operational mission, even though it was still a test mission, and most of the data for that is redacted, and we don't even know whether or not where things even stand on the safety of that vehicle. So what I'm worried about is that this is going to lead to yet another lobbying cost plus contract to one of the big aerospace players that, again, have taken over 20 years at this point to deliver $45 billion. And there's no way that those companies would be able to do it in 30 months. I'm sorry. They're just, if you've been paying attention to things over the past 10 years, you know that it would take a economic miracle to see something like happen. That's not to say that it's not possible. It is possible if we were to invest not just the money, but also the will and the talent and all those things like Dutta was bringing up earlier about, that truly concerted effort with the best and the brightest. And unless there's something happening behind the scenes that none of us know about yet, I just don't see that happening. Anyway, it's certainly
just pull out the blueprints from Grumman and make another Apollo lunar lander.
Yeah.
Like why are
how
we
hard could it be?
reinventing the wheel?
Yeah. It can't be that difficult. It's just all you need is a couple pieces of tin foil and some structure, and you're good.
Yeah, problem solved.
Come on.
But that also raises the other point, which is why, like, the administration wants to push this acceleration, let's call it, to land Americans on the moon before the Chinese land their own on the moon. But at this point, like 30 months, who can build a lander to do that in 30 months? And I have this really bad feeling that this acceleration is just going to cause the go fever problems which led to Challenger. And we can't, you can't push these kinds of, you can't push a human flight like this. Like you just can't do that, right? Lessons have been learned for a reason, and things are done in the way they are done nowadays for a reason, right? There's a real danger there.
We've lost the curve of lessons having been learned. We have vacated an entire generation, maybe two, of space engineers and space companies doing space things to be able to continue the legacy of the lessons that were learned from the inception of spaceflight in the United States.
Yeah.
There is a gap in the knowledge base, the understanding, the risk posture, the management, the interest in many respects of being able to do this and do this well. I don't think the current no, I'm not going to say that. That would be I think one step too far. The talent that we have that is executing this does not maintain the depth of knowledge, not the breadth of knowledge, but the depth of knowledge that was gained in blood by engineers and scientists that made Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo happen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's probably I'm probably wrong in a couple spots, in a couple shallow spots here and there, but there's a generation gap between then and now.
Yeah. It's sad to see.
And
with
I know I'm gonna get flack for that one.
It's sad to see.
Stop being so correct, Dada.
No. I'm just enough of an a-hole to say the thing needs to be said.
Harold agrees. Definitely wouldn't get in any spacecraft that hasn't gone through testing in 30 months isn't enough time, in my humble opinion. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Well, with that,
So, I have one more point, which I'm just gonna drop into the discussion here. Would it actually be that bad if China won the race?
I mean, I've been hoping that
Because-
it would be a moment like in the very accurate documentary For All Mankind, where it lights a fire under the butts of most Americans and are just like, wait, what? And that's what finally gets us over that threshold of the will and the way to actually do it and do it properly. Who knows? That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, why does it have to be national pride about who accomplishes this? Why can't it be humanity pride about it being accomplished?
Whoa. Getting too woke there, brother.
Again, 70 years later, but whatever. Like, can't we just celebrate humans doing awesome shit?
Yeah.
I certainly think, I mean, I certainly feel like a lot of us here in this community feel that way. And, I've been excited for all of their milestones that they've been making over the years, getting their first human space flight, their amazing robotic lunar landers, their first landing on Mars for their first try, and impressively building their space station in just a couple of years. Like, they are doing awesome. And what breaks my heart more isn't that they're beating us, it's that we can't participate with them. We can't cooperate with them. And we've talked endlessly about the reasons for that, and there's good arguments, but I'm on that boat of I want this to be for humanity and for us all to work together. And it's real easy to daydream about what we could accomplish if we were all pooling our resources together.
Well, I mean, politics in the United States are so short-sighted that they change directions and monumental goals like they change underpants. If we had, I don't know, say a decadal space survey that was adhered to, where we decide what to do for the next 10 years, then maybe we could all get behind something and celebrate as a nation when we accomplish it. But like, we're still landing on the moon. Like, how many people have done that?
Yeah.
That's still something to be celebrated.
Absolutely.
100%. And
a couple of good comments here that I like. First, Aravel, move over Apollo Soyuz. It's time for Starship land you. I'm for that.
Yeah, I wonder if the Chinese National Science Agency, or whatever they're called, CNSA, would propose Ganyui for Duffy's acceleration
Oh my
approach.
gosh,
So Americans
that
on
would
the
be
moon
hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Before the end of the administration. It's one of those intrusive thoughts I had the other night.
So somebody put John Manderson 2060's comment on the screen, please.
Space needs decency and human rights.
The other one.
Applauding a genocide nation landing on the moon is not desirable.
As a descendant of the Cherokee Nation, I would like to have a word.
I mean,
Yeah, there's no innocence.
Learn
on
your
that
history.
front.
Learn your history, dude. United
Yeah.
States is genocidal as well.
yeah. We are the evil empire, and we've all kind of come to terms with it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I know that sounds like a flippant response, but I don't know. I did want to bring this up. I'm with Jamie on this one, by the way. Hi, Jamie. Jamie says that Science Island in international waters on the equator launch as humanity, and I am all for that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sealand can do it. Why can't we? We just need to get an old oil rig. Who knows? Maybe that sea launch hardware is still out there. We'll make our own nation, the TMRO Nation, and we'll launch for all of humanity for there. And everyone is welcome to participate. Yes,
GSE never dies.
Your CAD models will probably get stolen by any of our Chinese partners that help with us, but it's fine. Just don't patent your stuff like SpaceX, and it'll be fine. All ships rise with the tide, and we'll do some awesome stuff together. And then our first colony will be on the moon, and we can, start making terms to Earth. It's going to be awesome. Space War 2050, guys. It's going to be great.
No,
I don't know how I got
really,
there.
It's real easy. You don't put any units in your CAD models or drawings, and then you just have to guess and figure it out.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. See, Dada's smart about this kind of stuff.
It's one of those internal knowledge things, like the guys in the 50s who put mayonnaise over one of their test articles. Just one of those little things that you never told anybody.
What do you mean we're gonna cover the planes in Pepto-Bismol? How's that gonna work?
That's the only thing that worked in tests. Don't worry about it. We're embarrassed. That's why we didn't put it in the patent.
We could also throw that like car testing camouflage on them as well, so that way take that, NASA spaceflight cameras. Now you have no idea what bolts are being turned. Something like that. So.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Another thing I just thought of was, we see Sean Duffy all the time saying we're going to win the second space race and blah 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 blah. America's going to win the race, whatever. But does that is a point. That is a point. But does China even see this as a race? Like, does the Chinese Space Agency think that they're in a race? Like,
no,
because I have my doubts on that. Like, at least from what I've seen, the Chinese space policy for years, dare I say decades at this point, they're just chugging along doing their own thing because they want to, because they can, because they want to advance their own technological and scientific exploration advances, right? They don't seem to care what the US space policy is doing, because US space policy hasn't been doing a lot for a long time at this point. So, like, all of this, it feels like to me, has just been manufactured. All of this drama over the last week is like a manufactured thing of the US just looking in on itself, saying we're going to win this thing, and then the other guy is like, "Wait, you think we're in a race?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like all of this stuff seems to be trying to beat China, yet China doesn't care. It's just, yeah.
If China sincerely thought that we were any kind of competition, and they would put one of their 30 companies that are actually trying to execute this on making a duplicate of whatever the hell it was that we were trying to figure out and make it happen faster.
They certainly have the resources to do that. So
yeah,
there's no, and there's a very interesting thing that's actually happened in the past with several missions where China has actually pointed to work that NASA is doing and essentially done public outreach based upon the work that NASA's doing to justify their own decisions in doing that, saying if they're doing it, we can do it too. Not necessarily better, but we can also match that and do it with the same amount of capability that the United States can. And there's been times where China has pointed at the United States and basically said, look at what they're doing. we should figure out a way so that we can do this as well. So that way, that knowledge, because we cannot participate in developing this knowledge with another country, we should figure out how to do it ourselves. So that way we can. So again, it's at least in China's eyes, they are not competing. They are heads down doing whatever they feel like doing.
That's how you win.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder if this has actually been acknowledged. Even in this announcement that got everyone upset about opening up the lander contract, Duffy rephrased it as a space race between American companies. So maybe in a weird way, he's actually acknowledging your point, Ryan, that, and you're absolutely right. I've never heard any Chinese official, not even like on Chinese TikTok. And I don't mean TikTok. I forgot what the other one was called, Red Note or whatever. Like they're surprised that we're saying that sort of stuff over here. Yeah, we're in a space race with China. And they're just like, what? We are? Yeah, we're in a space race with SpaceX, with NASA. What are you talking about? And I don't know if they're just trolling. They could be, but you're absolutely right, though, that no official has ever said anything like that. And you're also correct about this being a decades-old plan. I think this was like the 941 or 971 plan or something like that was decided way back in 1996 for these little 5-year increments of milestones that they would do. So yeah, this has been a plan for a long time, and it was never phrased as a race with the United States or anything like that. This has been completely on just the propaganda side of on our side of, yeah, this is a space race with China, and they've never acknowledged that. So yeah, I think you all bring up great points and are right that no matter what happens, they're just going to keep plugging along. And even if somehow the United States wins this race that they've made up themselves, China will be like, cool. Anyway, we're building our village thing. So congratulations on your landing and putting the 13th person on the moon. But we're going to be worrying about our moon base thing that we're doing here. Oh, and by the way, we pulled a trick out of your book and are also bringing nuclear reactors and have a safety keep out zone so that you can't get any of the stuff that we're going to mine here. Thanks, America, for the idea. Love you guys.
Yeah. I was going to say, Arvale in the chat room has, to me, the point that just makes it all, which is that China has absolutely nothing to lose. They get there first, massive PR win. They get there second, they're still the second country to land on the moon, massive PR win.
Yeah.
So either way you go, you got it.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's just like the big PR wins of India landing on the moon, right? That's huge for them to do that, and globally for them to do that. So they were certainly not the first. So, but the fact that you did, it's the fact that you did, and you proved that you could. So there's something extremely strategic in doing that. So again, great point.
I can think of a bigger PR win though, and that would be going on Fox News every week and saying how we're going to be the first back to the moon.
That's just a game show.
Oh my goodness.
It's the real world.
Have we beat this horse to death? Should we move on, or was there anything else that you guys wanted to discuss with all this? No. Okay, let's move on.
Well, I'll round it out by saying it will be really interesting to see how much longer this will keep going on for, because this is all stemmed. This entire week's worth of discussion has all stemmed from Sean Duffy feeling a little bit vulnerable that Jared Isaacman might take his job, right? That's where this is all stemmed from. So I would be I'm really interested in seeing how this thing will evolve, how long it will be until President Trump makes a decision. Will Jared Isaacman make the greatest comeback in NASA administrator history? I don't know. It's the fact we're even in this situation in the first place is kind of bonkers to just how the political system is at the moment. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how things pan out.
Absolutely. Well, with that, let's go ahead and move on to our first trivia question of the week, which, you guessed it, might have to do with Sean Duffy. Ryan, take us away.
Okay, so as we all know, as I just alluded to, there was some shenanigans. But when was Sean Duffy confirmed as the new acting administrator of NASA? Was it on July 7th, July 8th, July 9th, or July 10th?
Oh,
And that's all you get.
that's
Hope you're ready.
Answers now.
No problem. No problem. I'm just imagine that the music played out for a couple more seconds, and we're gonna give you the last little bit of it right here. Weird transition, but there we go.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Literally nothing happened in between the start and the end of that music. Okay, so which date do you think it was? Jared, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna go with B, July 8th, and this is a total guess on my part.
Okay. When do you think it was, Mike?
Also gonna guess and go with July 10th.
Okay. And Data?
July 7th.
Okay. And what was the chat room's answer as I pause and wait to be told in my ear of what the chat room answered with? And that was the answer B, the 8th. Well, literally nobody got this right. It was July 9th.
Yeah! Task failed successfully. Excellent.
And no one was left out. Congratulations, everyone. Participation trophy for everybody. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for that. Something that was big to me. Well, first, Jared, do you want to talk about the alien stuff, or shall we talk about some orbital data centers?
Let's talk about some orbital data centers, because this is gonna be a funny one, I think.
So yeah, there's been talk for a couple of months now. I've been hearing lots of talk and discussions about putting data centers in space, and Nvidia looks like they are leading the charge on actually doing it, and have announced that they have started a side company that is going to be experimenting to do just that, and they are called StarCloud. Another star name for something that they plan to use on Starship. In fact, they put out this little animation of what this potential orbital center might look like. And what I found interesting was everyone's more questions about this weird looking Starship vehicle than the orbital data center itself. But this
That's
thing
clearly
would be
an X-37.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
4 kilometers squared.
Wow.
That's how big they want this thing to be.
Who's
John, don't pull that
proposing
away.
this?
I'm going to play it again. This is Nvidia proposing this. They want to put these giant orbital data centers. They want to put a data center in space specifically to power the AI stuff.
So this is Starship delivering something that's 4 times the size of a bus to something that's the size of a city. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Good fucking luck.
I have a question. Jared, how would the astronomers feel about a 4 kilometer square grid of solar arrays in low Earth orbit?
I think I can speak very honestly from the bottom of my heart to Nvidia by saying, go F yourself.
Oh, man. And here's the thing about
this. Talk about an absolute perversion of Gerard K. O'Neill's vision of the future. Oh, geez.
Absolutely. And that last little bit that you're seeing there on screen, this is actually a tech demo that is going to be launching very soon. It's launching next month on the Bandwagon 4 mission, which the Haven demo is also going to be on. So they're actually testing this out and doing the proof of concept to see whether or not they'll actually be able to do this sort of thing. And I actually think that it's a really good idea, in not this giant, huge one, but just in theory, to stop having, especially the AI data centers here on Earth, gobbling up so much electricity and so much water that they use for mitigating the heat of these things. That I'm okay with.
Entered the chat.
Yeah. Despite that, though, I mean, I don't think that this giant thing is the solution, but I don't know. I do like that they're at least looking at ideas like this. So anyway, here, let me stop that.
I like that they're thinking about putting data centers in space. I think that is a good idea. Their execution is fucking laughable.
Yeah.
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 There was a argument that I heard about the whole wastewater thing of, you know, if they're anything like Intel, that's just a one-time thing, and then they recycle all of that water for the cooling. But and I, to completely honest, I haven't looked into it very much, but I haven't seen a whole lot of these companies doing that.
Why would they use water in space instead of ammonia?
No, they wouldn't. I'm talking about the ones that we currently have that they're currently building on Earth. I don't know of any plans to use water for space ones.
Nobody recycles water when they're cooling their data centers.
So that's a lie anyway.
It's a lie. Yeah, it is a lie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fell for it again award. Sorry, everyone. Oh, man.
Yeah, cooling is an incredibly difficult thing to do no matter where you're at. So you're gonna try to do everything you can in order to make sure that you have maximum efficiency, and recycling your water is definitely a bad way to do that. So unfortunately, they can definitely throw the PR out there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're being true about it. So
yeah.
I have a question. Isn't technically all water recycled?
I mean, yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, technically, we're enjoying the same glass of water a dinosaur did hundreds of millions of years ago, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, you know,
but the time scale is astronomical for that to happen, and not in any way that's useful to societies that suffer from droughts on a regular basis.
Yeah. Great question of how, if this was to be done, how would they cool this thing? It collects warmth from the sun and the earth and whatever how are we going to get rid of all of that waste heat? And although missing from their inaccurate render there, space radiators. And if they were to do something like this, it would also be another huge component of it. And it's like we figured out ways to do this, but it would just make this thing grow in scale to be an even bigger size. And
so in addition to the 4 kilometer squared solar array, they'd have a 4 kilometer square radiator array. Jared, how would the astronomy community feel about that?
I could say from the bottom of my heart, and you know, I saw somebody in the chat room saying that you could put it at a higher orbit and angle it and all this other stuff. And yeah, sure you can, but that doesn't change the fact that there's a huge friggin' blob of infrared heat out there, which is going to mess up all of your infrared telescopes that may be below it or around it or even near it. So it's just, and then you got to talk to it, which is what gives you really.
I didn't see any dishes.
Yeah, you got, and that's radio.
Yeah.
And that's going to scatter all over the place. And just like, there are so many things that go into making sure that you have good, clean observation data when you're actually using a telescope. And this is going to do just about everything it can in order to ruin that. So
And they want to accelerate global warming by reflecting that 4-kilometer solar array down to the ground somewhere.
Why not?
When it's supposed to be nighttime, just so that they can get output from Grok or some stupid
Oh, you don't want it? You don't want it lit up at your city at 3 o'clock in the morning? You're going to have to sign up for Nvidia Plus if you want that feature.
Hey, I'm just saying, the clocks went back last night here in the UK and the sun's setting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon again. That's horrible. I would be a big fan of having some reflected sunlight outside my window at a reasonable time of day, okay? Just saying.
You should move to the Shetlands where the nights are shorter.
I hear there's a spaceport there. It might be right up your alley. No, just kidding.
I see there's a lot of people saying that the astronomical community should just move to the far side of the moon. So if anybody would like to send the astronomical community several $billion to accomplish this, it would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, shut up. So
better learn to speak Chinese.
Yeah. I love that. If you think space data centers are a near physical impossibility, let me tell you about how difficult it is to try to get a operational astronomical base on the far side of the moon, which I don't disagree. It'd be a great place to put it. But the problem is much like aerospace in science, if there's no bucks, there's no Buck Rogers, so you need the money to do it. So, and we're kind of having a little bit of a problem with that.
Well, Nvidia's got all the money right now. They're the most valuable company in the world. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll be fine. Yeah, they're just them and Oracle and other companies that are just basically swapping parts back and forth between each other. I mean, that's perfectly reasonable.
You're not playing the game right. What you got to do is this orbital astronomical base needs to be powered by Nvidia chips, Nvidia CPUs, and that's how we get the funding from them, and it all happens.
Yeah, we're already not doing that.
And powered by AI. Don't forget, powered by AI.
We actually already are using AI and other stuff with it. We're not doing the really dumb AI that you're using to make like stupid videos and all the other stuff to try to fool your parents and grandparents on Facebook, because it's basically what ends up happening with most of that. My gosh, you think Dutta was gonna have a rant earlier today? I'm just gonna start doing backflips and climbing all over this stuff in here in just a second. So I really need to come down from this. All right.
Oh man. Well, if we are going to keep going with this whole AI thing, and if it actually can come up with a good use, aside from just coming up with slop videos and dumbing down the general populace of the world, then I think that it is a good idea to try to pursue it in some way of there are lots of problems that would need to be mitigated: the power generation, the waste heat disposal, the communications for it. But I would rather see that stuff in space than be taking up valuable resources on Earth. And so I'm torn between it looking right off the bat like a completely stupid idea, and then at the same time, with a little bit more thought, a little bit more engineering put into it, could be a good idea. And that's if this whole AI bubble doesn't burst. Like, it's kind of holding up the entire economy right now. And it's a very scary situation to be in, with this weird circular thing of Nvidia making investments into OpenAI so that they can then buy chips from Nvidia in order to do more AI stuff to lead to more contracts. And it just is this weird thing. And even the general public can see now that it's a bubble and it's going to burst at any time. And my apologies to everyone else around the world for the dollar being the reserve currency and putting everyone into a risky situation. So, yeah, it's weird.
That said, the whole of humanity does consume a lot of data, and I don't think that making a data center in space is a terrible idea. But the execution needs to consider far more things than this proposal clearly does. Like, you need to power it. It's going to be power hungry. You need to cool it. It's going to be a giant blob of heat, and just exposing it to space is not going to do it. Like, there's probably ways to do this and make it happen. You could put an RTG in it, and then you could have some small cooling fins and radiators, and I mean, small in relative terms compared to this 4 kilometer square that they're proposing. But like, what are you going to do when a drive fails?
Great
What are you going to
question.
do when a circuit gets blown, or you get a meteorite impact and it destroys a power bus? Like, that's not been thought through.
Well, because they're putting the 4 kilometer solar array in low Earth orbit, they can just send up a servicing mission like Hubble.
Yep.
Wait, you're telling me
Put
that
some-
you're
Bring a monocle to a gunfight.
wait a second. You're telling me that vehicles with a large number of single points of failure are the kind of thing that can give you a heart attack?
You want more than one miracle per generation?
Well, you know, that would be just saying, you know, I could think of at least one vehicle that had 362 single points of failure that seemed to do its job correctly. And
no, I'm pretty sure you can only. I'm pretty sure you can only think of one.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what I'm trying to say, which is that I don't know if the amount of
my point
that has...
my point is you can't think of two.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say is that I don't think the amount of thought that went into, say, something like James Webb is going to necessarily be repeated here.
Your grandchildren would never see it.
Oh no. So
timelines and money, your grandchildren would never see it.
Nope.
Well, all we have to do is kind of wait and see what happens. I think that there's going to be a lot of not copycats, but I think that there's going to be a lot of momentum that is going to grab onto this, whether we like it or not, and hopefully some wise ideas will come out of this. But as of right now, all we can do is wait and see what happens. But it seems like all of the major players that have the money and resources to actually do this are all gung-ho about it. So we'll see.
JTTV says, Microsoft put a data center in the ocean for a few years. That's like space. Yep, same thing.
And it actually has aliens there in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, unidentified species.
Oh my goodness. What is it? Oh, well, never mind. I don't remember. Not my area of expertise. Anyway, I think we should go ahead and move on and go to a little bit more good news. We have one more question for you guys. And Ryan, why don't you go ahead and take this one away for us? Because something else happened this week.
Yeah, we had the return of the HTV, the HTV-X, the new Evolution upgraded, finally launched from JAXA just last night, actually, on an H3 from Tanegashima. It's on its way to the ISS right now as we speak. But how many days has it been since the last HTV re-entered? Has it been 1,894 days, 2,185 days, 2,543 days, or 3,186 days?
None of these numbers bring me joy.
Jared, we'll start with you. Which big number? Oh, never mind. We're going to do it again.
Let's start over.
Nope. Just kidding. Just kidding. Sorry.
Jared,
Oh man.
Let's go back to you. Which big number do you think it is?
I'm very much with Dada, which is that none of these numbers make me happy to see. You know what? I'm gonna go with A. So 1,894.
Who's next on my list? Mike, you're next on my list. What do you think?
I am going to guess C, 2543
Okay.
days.
And
sheesh.
yeah, big number. Dutta, which one do you think it is?
I'm gonna go with B, 2185.
Okay. And I will stall to learn how the chat room answered with an answer which was on the screen, and they went with C, and that is not the correct answer. D is not the correct answer.
Oh,
So which one is it? Is it A or B?
I mean,
I could keep doing this for a very long time, but I
you-
can confirm that there has been a grand total of 1 point scored this show, and that one entire point for the entire show goes to Jared. Well done. The correct answer was A, with 1,894 days since HTV9 re-entered.
oh my gosh. And that was a complete guess. Both of these are guesses today. I didn't know. I was just like, that seems like 5 years ago, which I think it happened during the pandemic. So
Yeah, it was in 2020.
yeah. Man.
Congratulations.
So I originally was going to go with B, but then I was like, no, I think that's like.
If
a
you went
year
with
too
B,
long.
there would be no points scored at all. This entire episode would have been hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, that's great.
I'm gonna make.
I want to give a
super
shout out
nice...
to.
Go ahead, Jared.
Oh, I was gonna say, there's a friend of mine who took an image of the HTV and replaced it with a Sapporo Gold beer can, like photoshopped it in its place. I gotta find that picture somewhere because I really like it. So
that's hilarious. Well, yeah, this is the only update to the score right here. Jared leading the way with 37, chat right behind you with 33, me at 31, Dutta at 24, and Jamie still at 0. And I feel like as we approach the end of the year, I'm going to make some really nice laminated space fan cards and then fly over to where you are, Jared, and hand in that card to you.
So you're telling me that I've got like the official card, and I can just throw it up, like a credit card commercial or something every time I need to.
Part of the official fan club.
Official fan club of space. That's right. I belong to space.
Oh my goodness. Well, Jared, why don't you tell us about a little bit more about what's going on with 3i Atlas and all the goofiness for it.
If you weren't already
Oh my
enraged
gosh.
at that 4-kilometer solar array in low Earth orbit, how do you feel about Avi Loeb and flying Juno over to find the aliens that are on 3i Atlas?
Oh, Dr. Loeb, how are we gonna deal with it? I don't, it's good to always throw really wild ideas out there. Because that's the whole point of science, right? Is to just throw these wild things at the wall and see what sticks. But man, if your like past decade is doing nothing but that, I kind of am at the point where I'm like, what are you doing? Are you just like, you having fun at everyone else's expense? Like, there's like other people need grants. So they're starving scientists, somewhere out there that could use it. But anyways, so we've had our third interstellar object, which is called Atlas now, named after the telescope system that discovered it. This was found back in July, and we've been monitoring it ever since, kind of watching it as it screams through the solar system. Of the three interstellar objects that we know of, Oumuamua and which was the first that we found in 2017, and Borisov, which was the second we found in 2019. Atlas here is just screaming through at twice the speed of Borisov. It's the fastest that we have. So it's absurd how fast it's rolling through, and it's going through backwards. So it's going through in a retrograde direction compared to the rotation of the planets around the sun. So because of that, and being in the plane or the ecliptic where all the planets orbit relative to the sun, a lot of people were very much going, ooh, what could this could possibly be something. And turns out, no, not really. It's always fun to run with wild speculation about could it be an alien probe or something coming through the solar system. But yeah, and here it is through NASA Eyes on the Solar System, showing you its path. It is currently on the opposite side of the sun relative to the Earth at the moment. So we are at about right here in its orbit. It passed Mars earlier this month, and we can confirm that the European Trace Gas Orbiter did take data of it while it was going past, did take imagery of it while it was going past as well. Don't know about Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter because the government is currently closed here in the United States, so we'll have to find out about that. Also on its way outbound, it's going to go past ESA's JUICE probe and also Europa Clipper, and there's a chance that both of those may actually fly through the tail of Atlas. So we're going to see if they are actually going to be able to take data. It's hard because of the environment that they're in right now. They're sort of, those probes are built for the environment of Jupiter. They're not necessarily built to do science in the inner solar system as they do like long term, like you would have to study Atlas. So we'll have to see, because you don't want to overheat your spacecraft, right? So something that Nvidia is going to have to really worry about with all those chips and that city-sized solar array. How hard could it be? So yeah, it's very interesting, some of the data that we're getting back from it. A lot of people are, a lot of the data is showing that it is acting very comet-like. So there is material outgassing off of it. And we are finding stuff like carbon dioxide and water vapor, which is what we would expect to be coming from a comet. In addition to that, we're also detecting iron and nickel, which is something that a lot of the alien conspiracy theory people have really been running with, which is, oh my gosh, this is a comet. And they're calling it a comet, and they've detected these heavy metals in it, which actually, if you know anything about comets and studying comets, we actually find that a lot of comets do have things like nickel and iron coming out of them in their plumes. So it's like not unheard of. It's a pretty normal occurrence. So yeah, we'll have to see. We're still going to be studying it. We're still going to be taking a look at it and imaging it as soon as it comes out from behind the sun. There was some folks that were saying that it's going to perform some sort of Oberth maneuver, including Professor Loeb, who's saying that if it was going to make one, it would make it then, which of course people are then going, oh, look, a Harvard astrophysicist is saying this. We're going to latch onto it and hold on to it as tightly as we can, because that's a public figure, clearly showing that this actually is aliens and everyone's hiding everything from us, even though every dang every observatory that is taking imagery of it is basically publishing all that stuff immediately publicly for you all to take a look at. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. I'm just going to tell you one thing, which is that yeah, it's not doing anything out of the ordinary for either a comet or the two previous interstellar objects that we have seen. So hold on to your butts. I guess we'll just check back in the next couple of months and basically see how it's been doing. But there's sort of the Sagan principle that I definitely adhere to, which is that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And right now, at the moment, the extraordinary evidence is not there to back up those extraordinary claims. So
claim I keep hearing is that the tail is going the wrong way. It's heading towards the sun instead of away from it. And it's just like, okay, cool. Got anything to prove that? No?
Not unheard of. Not unheard of for a comet to have what we call an anti-tail, because different particles are going to go in different directions based upon their mass and the materials that are coming off of the comet, and where those jets, if there are jets coming off of the material, are aiming that to come off of the comet. Pebbles are not going to, believe it or not, pebbles get acted on differently than sand grains. They get acted on differently than boulders, right? So it's pretty wild what you can do with physics in space. So we'll have to see. That's the hard part about it, is that you have to wait and see. But a lot of the people who are making these claims just simply aren't actually waiting and seeing. So, but again, if you want to take the claims as like fun, wild speculation, that's cool. But also at the same time, it shouldn't be like, here's my wild claim and I have a book coming out. So like, we got to kind of like, let's ease up a little bit on that. Can we? Like, if you don't mind. So.
Yeah. Actually, great point here. If I was an if I was an alien and flying by Earth, I would definitely camouflage as a comet. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've talked about this.
It's like the missile-armed space station around Mars camouflaging as Phobos. Like, it's a brilliant plan.
Clearly, yes. I'm ready to work at Harvard now. I'll push that forward and clearly get tenure immediately.
I'll peer review your paper.
Thank you, Mike. And then we'll publish it in our own magazine, our own publication for that. So that way there is some validity to it. So, which has
is the comet asking?
Happened.
Is the comet asking for humpback whales?
As far as we know. No, it's not. All the spacecraft out and around it haven't been powered down yet as they try to analyze the sound coming off of it. So I don't think there's been any red alerts called around these spacecraft. So we'll have to see. But actually, I was talking about.
Okay, my other question is the signal decreasing in span, so to some sort of countdown?
No, we're not getting that either. It's really weird. So it turns out
we should be good.
What are the radio signals coming from it? Oh, right, none.
Wait a minute. But wait a minute. There's this extraordinary claim out there that it's where the wow signal came from, right? So that's what it's been saying was wow.
Well, earlier we were talking about starting your own basically publisher to publish your own papers, and that's kind of where that's at. But hey, if you just throw it out there and see what everybody thinks, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Nobody, no harm, no foul.
I propose we call our magazine Nature's Magazine, but the S is going to be in a much smaller font, so it looks like Nature Magazine, but if you look really close, we've got the extra S there.
Yeah, and then you know what? Let's put an apostrophe S on the end there, so that way it's definitely like, this is Nature's Magazine. So that would work pretty well. But just to kind of speak a little bit to it, which is that if you were actually going to be doing very good, like if you were actually launching a probe to try to study a solar system, Atlas is kind of coming through at the absolute worst possible trajectory to do so. Yeah. Because it's coming through quick. Its orbital eccentricity is above 6, which, to give you an idea, the orbital eccentricity of the Earth is like 0.99 something. And then Oumuamua was 1.2 and Borisov was 3, and this is absolutely outrageous. So the higher the number, the more parabolic it is, and then once you get above 1, you're pretty much what we call hyperbolic, or you're in and you're out, and so see you later. So to have it at 6 is like it's one of the highest that we've ever seen of anything in the solar system. So yeah, not great. Lots of delta V you'd have to dump, and also you're just going the wrong way. Rolling through backwards, not the best way to do it. You typically want to come up from behind, not just because you're sneaking up on the planet and it can't hear you by doing that, and you're downwind, so it also can't smell you. But because if you're going to use the gravity of that planet, that's the best way to do it, is to come in nice and gentle, and then you expend a minimal amount of energy to do that. Atlas is basically on a it's coming through like a Formula One car down a long straight. It's going to require maximum braking in order to do that, and it's just not. That would be incredible for it to do that. So a lot of people on the conspiracy world are saying that because it's on the opposite side of the sun right now, it's going to be firing its engines to do a solar Oberth maneuver to put itself on trajectory to get here to Earth. Which, if it is, dang, that's going to be one hell of a Oberth to do that, because it's literally just going to whip 180 around the sun in order to perform that. So, damn. So, yeah, it is impressive. It's a great thing to study, and we're all looking forward to the data coming in from it, especially as we continue to work towards figuring out just what exactly it is. But at the same time, it's probably not going to be aliens, simply because of the chances of that are slim.
Well, hang on. Aravel has a great point here. Maybe it was sent to investigate another solar system, and we're just the mission extension of, oh, hey, look, we have enough fuel left to make a really quick pass by Sol. We're not the destination. We're just the side quest.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you're going to disguise a spacecraft as a comet, they're doing a pretty good job of it, and tip of the cap to them for that, if that's what's happening. But the chances of that are pretty not good. It's basically looking like
there's still a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Saying there's still a chance. So it's looking so much like Borisov Part 2, but a little bit faster. Or actually a whole lot faster this time. So, but we'll see, right? It's behind the sun right now. We can't observe it. So, there's a sun in the way. There's a star in the way at the moment. So we're going to have to wait for it to pop back out.
Serious question. When is that estimated to happen?
I thought
it was like
know.
December or January or something like that.
Don't actually know that right off the top of my head. I think it is. Oh man, see, this is the thing, because I don't have a schedule in front of me that kind of talks about when it would happen. But I mean, it's got to be, or maybe someone in the chat room or one of y'all can find it really quickly. But it is one of those things where when it does pop back out, we're going to immediately get on it as quickly as we can. Obviously, you have to wait a little bit of time for it to get out of the glare of the sun, because you don't want to damage your instruments. And then also, if you're going to take radio observations, the sun is going to be a really big noise in the way there too for quite a while. So we'll have to see. I would imagine probably probably no later than early December is when we should start being able to do it again. And then, of course, like I said, towards the end of this month, in September, JUICE was able to go past, and then towards the end of this month, into November is when Europa Clipper is going to go through. So the 19th. Okay, so mid-December is actually when it's going to pop back out, and we'll be good with that. So, so pretty cool.
All right, just in time for Christmas. We'll find out by then if there's an alien invasion or not.
Yeah, don't count on it. But it's fun to think about, right? Like, that'd be really cool, right? Like, you get this thing, and then all of a sudden it does an about face, and it shows up, and it's like, hey, where's your best tacos, right? Like, that'd be great. But yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening at the moment with this one. All the evidence that we've seen so far of it just screaming into the solar system, it looks like it's just going to continue on its way and scream on its way out as it's heading out. It's just so poorly placed to do any sort of a flyby or a braking maneuver or anything like that. That it just doesn't make any sense. I would hope to all of my hopes that if you are an interstellar travel capable species, that you don't take bad trajectories like this. Like, come on, you want to talk about triple fumbles? This is a quadruple fumble for such an advanced species to be able to do something like this and then absolutely bungle it as it's coming into the solar system. Like, come on, y'all.
Look, until
Get it
know-
together.
until you know where it came from and where it's going, you can't say that it's a bad orbit.
That's you know what? That's true. That's true, Detta. So
getting a quick gravity assist.
Detta, stop being right this show. I swear to God, you've been right so much this show. I'm getting upset by it now. So
oh my goodness. Well, great points.
very cool.
Great points, and we'll find out by December if anything changes with this. But yeah, don't get your hopes up, and do not fall for the AI videos showing blinking lights and cities and all sorts of weird stuff. There's a little watermark that you can tell now. It says Sora on it, so if you see SORA, it's not. It's not leaked footage from NASA or from the Japanese Space Agency. Don't fall.
No,
for it.
also they don't leak footage. They just
publish it.
They put the data out there. So there may be an embargo for
well, Jared, that's not true at the
things,
moment because of the government shutdown. The NASA image and video library isn't being updated, which means they can be sneaking this alien stuff in that we don't actually know about.
There are some parts that are still being updated. Like I think some of the Mars rover stuff is still being updated. So you can't.
Well, they're robots. They don't care about getting paid.
Can't fool us all.
Paid, so.
They got paid up front.
Yeah, they sure did. So it's a conspiracy, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's sabotage.
Oh man. Well, with that, I think that we should probably wrap things up here. The only other things that I wanted to talk about are equally depressing topics about how space war looks all to be confirmed. So if you're a member and would like to talk about some of those ideas, and in addition to some other stories, then please join us for our After Dark. And with that being said, I would like to thank all of our current members who are currently supporting the show and have been donating so graciously to this show. Thank you to each and every one of you who have been supporting us throughout the years and allowing us to continue to do these things. It's been a really interesting journey, especially over the past year, of how we've seen the space industry develop and change. So again, thank you to everyone for your support, and please join us right after this for After Dark, where we will be talking about some more topics and sharing some more thoughts from around the space industry and things that have been happening. So again, thank you very much for joining us.
September 28th. After Dark, September 28th.
Yeah, we're going in the past. We're using quantum computing now. We can be in two places at once. So yeah, excited to make that announcement.
I didn't hear you say that a month ago.
Oh. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'll correct that in After Dark when we use our time machine.
Excellent.
With that, again, thank you everyone for joining us. If you are a member, please join us for After Dark right after this, and we will see you again next time. Keep moving onwards, upwards, everybody, and don't forget, Ad Astra, to the stars.